I invited her into my home and slowly watched her become more important than I was. By the time I understood what was happening, it was already too late. Looking back now, I keep asking myself the same question. When did I start disappearing from my own marriage? My name is Elena, and before all of this, my life felt safe, not perfect, but deeply familiar. Daniel and I had been married for 7 years. 7 quiet, ordinary years that stitched themselves into the shape of a life. Sunday mornings meant pancakes, and Daniel always burned the first one, every single time. I used to tease him about it. He used to pretend it was intentional. Little things like that make you believe nothing will ever break you. For a long time, nothing did. Then, one winter afternoon, Marianne called me. At first, I almost didn't recognize her voice. It sounded thinner than I remembered, like something inside her had collapsed. Her husband had died 3 days earlier. Suddenly, a heart attack, no warning, no chance to say goodbye. And before I even realized it, my chest began to ache for her. "I don't know how to live in that house anymore," she whispered. Silence followed, heavy, endless. In that moment, helping her didn't feel like a choice. It felt like responsibility. So that night, I turned to Daniel and said, "She shouldn't be alone right now. Maybe she can stay with us." He didn't hesitate, not even for a second. "Of course," he said softly. "We have the space." And I remember looking at him with so much love it almost hurt. I thought, I married a good man. What I didn't understand then was that kindness, without boundaries, can quietly destroy you. At first, everything felt right. Marianne moved into the guest room. She brought very little with her, just a suitcase and a grief so large it seemed to fill the hallway. For the first few weeks, our house revolved around healing her. I cooked her favorite meals, sat beside her during long silences, held her when she cried without warning, and slowly, she began to smile again. Daniel was gentle with her, patient, careful with every word. Sometimes I would watch them talk and feel proud of us, proud of the life we had built, proud that our home was the kind of place people could fall apart in and still feel safe. If there were early signs, I didn't see them. Or maybe I chose not to. The shift. I couldn't name it. Name it didn't happen overnight. Nothing dangerous ever does. Instead, it began with small moments that were easy to excuse. I'd walk into the kitchen and find them laughing softly. When I asked what was funny, Daniel would smile and say, "Just something Marianne said." And somehow, the conversation would end there. At first, I told myself I was imagining things. Grief changes people. Of course, they talked more. Still, for reasons I couldn't explain, I started feeling like a guest in rooms I used to belong to. That was the first feeling I buried instead of exploring. I should have listened to it. Before Marianne came, evenings were ours. We would sit on the couch, half watching some forgettable show, our feet tangled together. Comfort like that makes you careless. But slowly, Daniel stopped sitting beside me. "I'm going to take Marianne for a walk," he would say. "You look tired. Get some rest." And what scared me most was how reasonable it sounded. So I smiled and told him to go. They would return hours later, cheeks pink from the cold, eyes bright with something I couldn't quite name. Meanwhile, the house felt strangely empty without them. One night, I decided to join. The silence during that walk was unbearable. They walked slightly ahead. I followed behind. 3 shadows under one street light. Yet I had never felt more alone. After that, I stopped asking to come, and without realizing it, I started stepping out of my own life. My birthday arrived quietly that year. I didn't need anything big, just us. Daniel made breakfast, bought me a scarf, kissed my cheek. Everything looked right, so why did it feel wrong? Later that night, he handed Marianne a small velvet box. "A thank you," he said. Inside was a silver necklace. Beautiful. Intimate. Too intimate. Something tightened inside my chest. It shouldn't have mattered, but it did. God, it did. That night, I asked him about it. He sighed. "Elena, she's grieving. Don't make this strange." And instantly, shame flooded me. So once again, I apologized for a feeling I didn't understand. That was the moment I began betraying myself. Weeks passed, and little by little, distance replaced warmth. We spoke about groceries, laundry, bills, but never about us. Then the nights changed. Sometimes I would wake and Daniel wouldn't be beside me. At first, I told myself he couldn't sleep. But one night, as he slipped back into bed, I caught the faint scent of Marianne's perfume on his shirt. I lay there, frozen, too afraid to move, too afraid to know. Was I imagining it? Was loneliness making me paranoid? Or was my heart seeing something my mind refused to accept? The discovery came on an ordinary afternoon. They were both out. The house was quiet. And something inside me, something desperate, guided my hands to Daniel's drawer. I had never opened it before. Inside was a letter. As I read it, the world did not shatter. It simply tilted. He wrote about her laughter, her strength, how alive he felt beside her. Then came the line I will never forget. "Elena is good, but you feel like truth. Good, not loved, not chosen. Good." I sank to the floor, reading it again and again, as if repetition might somehow change the words. It didn't. When they came home, I was waiting. No screaming, no breaking things. Just one question. "Are you in love with her?" Daniel couldn't meet my eyes. Marianne began to cry. And then, the sentence people use when they don't want to face themselves. It just happened. No, it never just happens. It builds in 1,000 small permissions. "Leave," I said. My voice barely sounded like mine, and that night, they did. When the door closed, the silence felt familiar. The same silence she once feared. Only now, it belonged to me. The weeks that followed were the hardest of my life. Grief is strange. You mourn someone who is still alive. Daniel asked for forgiveness. Marianne wrote letters, but something inside me had awakened. And once you see clearly, you cannot go back to pretending. So I rebuilt, slowly, painfully. And somewhere along the way, I learned the most important lesson love ever taught me. Kindness without boundaries is self-abandonment. Sometimes, the people who hurt us most are the ones we tried hardest to save. So tell me, if you were in my place, would you have opened your home or trusted the quiet voice that warned you not to? I'll be reading your thoughts in the comments. And if this story stayed with you, subscribe. Because some stories don't just speak, they recognize us.